live. Everybody's live right now.
Yes, we are live.
So
We're
what's
back
up,
on
guys?
the call right now.
What's
All
up,
right.
guys?
Howdy doody, people. How you doing?
What's going on?
So first
Long
and
time
foremost,
coming.
I wanted to introduce before we get into this podcast. We have a
Yes.
special guest. I wrote it down actually because it's special to me, you know.
Yeah.
So we have a special guest with us today, all the way from the UK. He's a very talented and creative producer slash beat maker. Our brother from another, 81, born and bred. So welcome, 81, born and bred, guys.
Welcome, 81.
Let's clap it
Welcome.
out, baby.
Thank you.
Woo!
I'm gonna take the applause. How you guys doing
What is
over there,
going
man?
on?
Good, man. How'd you like my
Good.
intro? Was it too much or?
No, I can get used to this. If we're gonna be doing this for a while, I can get used to this. Probably won't get as many intros in the future, but hey.
Yeah, I just wanted
I
to.
see.
Go ahead.
I see you drinking something over there, brother. That's
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah, I
got
got-
in there.
I got a little coffee.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Try and keep the levels up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I know for like music production, let's talk a little bit about that. How did it all start for you? Like, how did you get into it? At what age? You know, tell us your story. Tell us the.
Yeah.
Let's
hear
go
it.
way back. I'm gonna take you way back into
Way
time.
back. Way back.
It all started from me from a young age. Growing up in the UK, my dad was we call it sound boy. So he used to be digging in the crates. He have his Frankie Beverly and Maze and all that. He used to have 12-inch vinyls every morning. He would wake up, turn on
So
his amp.
so sorry to cut you off. So Soundboy's like
Oh.
a DJ for us, right?
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
a DJ.
cool.
DJs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he used to be a part of a crew, sound crew, and they used to have their own. Used to make their own speakers and they make their own amps and stuff like
Wow.
that. So that was my introduction into music. Seeing him build speakers from chipboard or anything they could, and putting in the loft installation to make to get all the bass sounding right and the acoustics and all the rest. So
Yeah.
and I
The
just
process.
got
Yeah.
hooked. I just got hooked on the music from an early age. So I grew up listening to, like I said, Cameo, Earth, Wind and Fire, Shaka Khan,
Wow.
a lot of the classics. Yeah, a lot of the
Yeah.
classics.
Awesome.
That's what's up, man.
And for those who don't
From the-
know, 81 born and bred is, I want to say, like 10 years older than us.
Yeah,
So there's a
hence
music
the-
generation gap there a little bit. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
an 80s
Tends
baby.
the-
Yeah,
tends the
so,
81,
Yeah,
yeah.
hence
Yeah,
the 81. So yeah, I just bit the bug from there. And then I just kind of, we fast forward. That was like age of 10. Fast forward to like 15, 16. I started doing DJing myself. I became a
Wow.
little sound boy myself.
That's cool.
Wow.
My dad and my uncle, who was running the sound when they were coming up, they kind of got a bit too old to do it, so they kind of passed the torch to me and my cousin.
That's awesome.
And we
That's what's
formed a little crew called Phase 2, which is supposed to be the second phase of what the grown-up started, right? So we call
Yeah.
it Phase 2. And then I was too small to DJ, but I still did it. I had to stand on milk crates and all the rest. And
Wow.
like literally, we was playing on 1210s.
That's
So
cool,
that's
man.
and they were belt driven back then as well. So I'm standing on milk crates, mixing away, cutting.
The prodigy, right?
Yeah, just, and I got just carried on doing that. Started playing at like high schools, functions, christenings,
That's cool.
anything that anybody where they needed music, I did it.
That's awesome.
And one day I started cutting the fader, and I was like, hold on, you can blend, you can sit it right in the right place at the right RPM, and you can make a whole new, like a mashup, what they call a mashup nowadays,
Yeah.
right? You take two songs and you blend them together and you get a mashup. And I was
Yes,
like,
that's
okay.
that's a remix for us. Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
remix.
so-
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I prefer the remix in the middle. How do I make that? How do I make that beat that I'm hearing? And that's where I went with it, basically. From there, I started getting bits of kit.
That's
Wow.
awesome, dude. I mean, I
It's
kind
so
of.
it's
Go ahead,
ahead,
my
bro.
bad.
okay. So I was gonna say it's crazy to hear people's stories, like their origin stories,
Yeah.
because everybody has one.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's cool to just hear from a different perspective. Just like I feel like if you love music and if you get into music and you're still pursuing music, it started at a very young age. So it's
Yeah.
it's a cool thing to hear your origin story. when it comes from that aspect of it.
That's my X-Men story, or the X-Men of my mobile.
That's really
Wolverine's
cool, man. I
origin
mean,
story.
I think it's awesome that like your dad and your uncle showed you the whole DJ thing. And I know us two growing up, we didn't really do a lot of DJing, but our stepdad did a lot of live sound. So that's kind of I feel like where we get it from too, in terms of our origin story. Anyway, maybe that's something we could talk about later on. But I want to get more into asking questions like, so where do you find your edge? Like everybody has this competitive edge, right? Where do you find that? Because I know with me, it's my brother. So like, if he does something hot, I gotta come back.
It's always,
you know?
it's always
sleep
been like
until
that,
I top
man.
it. Yeah.
It's always been like that. I like that you came prepared with questions, man. I like that. She's on
she's on his, you're on your job. You're really on your job, man. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
My competitive edge came from the classics. It came from where I came from. My whole thing is that if I'm gonna make something, I gotta make something I can feel first and foremost. Despite what anyone else feels out there. So it's gotta be cohesive to me, and it's gotta be organic when I make the music. Obviously, being an '80s baby, I come up in a different era, shall I say, listening to like '90s. My '90s era was the golden era of hip hop, and you had the JayZ, the Biggies, the Pacs, your Mobb Deeps. You had versatility in that era. So that, and then you had the whole thing of like JayZ dissing Nas and Summer Jam and Mobb Deep and all of that stuff. So that was always like, wow, these guys are really going at it, but it's musical. So that kept me on my toes. And from that, I learned how to, kind of draw on that energy of always trying to better the last one I done, or the last track I did, or the last beat I made, and just trying to keep pushing the envelope. I like innovators as well, so that's where a lot of, it's not really, I'd say competitive, but it's more like pushing the mold to what is already out there. So it's like me against everybody, but not in a negative nature. I'm trying to, I like my Swiss beats, I like my Missies. I like my Timberland. I like my Pharrells. I like my even Premier when he came. Dilla. You know what I'm saying? All these guys were doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing, and it wasn't at the time when they came around. It wasn't the norm. But yet they still pushed through and made something happen. And now they're icons. They're legends. So
right, exactly. And just to I guess just to put my input on what you said, basically. For us, or I could speak for myself, and I'm sure my brother can relate to some of the stuff, but for myself, it was never really the JayZs and the Nas's like that, right, per se, because we grew up, Pentecostal, so we grew up in church, so we weren't really allowed or really
secular
able
music,
to.
right?
Yeah, but we snuck it. We snuck it in, though.
But we snuck it in, right? But we didn't really get, really too into like listening to music like that, hip hop, till maybe we were like 10 years old. And mind you, we're from the 90s, right? We were born in 1990. So we didn't really get into it till the 2000s. Now you're talking about Missy Elliott. You're talking about Eminem. You're talking about Busta Rhymes. You're talking about Ludacris. So all that stuff was kind of like our era. You know what I mean? People like to talk a lot about JayZ and Nas, and that's no knock to them. But that's something that relatable. I can't really relate too much into the JayZ and Nas era. For me, it's more of the 2000 and on. You know what I mean? So.
But I loved it all because it was all, everybody was different. Everybody had their own sound, and everybody was accepted at the same time.
Right.
And even though the South sounded different than the East and the West, and you had your Death Row battles with Bad Boy, and you had New York saying down South ain't got it like that, and you had all that back and forth, and that resonated in the UK. Don't get it twisted. Maybe we was a couple weeks or a couple months late with the news, but I was getting the information. I was buying the source every time it came out, every fortnight, or was it every month, and I was going straight to the 5 mics, and I was reading all the edits, trying to see who said what about who. And that was what I was tuned into.
And that's interesting because I feel like as a producer, everyone kind of finds their inspiration, right? And I think for me, my point of inspiration was I wouldn't really listen too much to the lyrics. I don't know if you guys can relate to this. I'd listen more to the instrumental.
Not right away.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
how the beat was, how it would form, or how it was made, or I'd
The
be more
drops,
interested in
yeah.
that. I'd probably blur out the lyrics all the time on the radio, like da na 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 na, but I'd go with the beat and I'd remember the beat, and that was memorable
Yeah.
for me. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes.
I think that's pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. Did that ever happen to you guys when you were little, or did you guys gravitate more toward to the lyrics?
Well, I'll let 81 answer that, and then I'll give my input if he
yeah.
has anything.
I guess with me, obviously coming up listening to the oldies, it was more musical composition because my dad was a heavy
Compositions,
jazz
yes.
guy as well. So it's
Yeah.
like Miles Davis. You know, what I'm saying he didn't sing a lick, but he played.
Yeah.
He played that horn
And
like no one's business.
that was
Yeah,
when
so
a
that was
record
his
was
language.
a record, you know?
Yeah,
Records.
yeah,
though,
you get,
you know?
yeah. And then when we go further into hip hop, I'm looking at how people rap on the beat. So I'm looking at, and I think Jay says it a lot. That's the era I came up in as well, and Luda does it as well. These guys find the pocket,
Yes.
Yes.
and the beat might go bam, 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 but they're going
In and out.
Yeah.
Their syncopation, their cadence is a beat in itself, inside the beat.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
there's a little period when I started rapping and rhyming as well, and I think
Yeah.
it allowed me to understand the hidden beat inside the beat rather than just the. These guys were trying to double entendres. They were giving you, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
hidden messages inside the rhyme that you want to have to rewind the tape just to get it.
Yeah, and that's
It's like-
that in itself is a hidden art form
Mm.
as well.
Of
You know,
course.
that a lot
man.
of people
just
don't-
like any art, that's
don't have
definitely,
nowadays.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I studied all of that. It's kind of like what the kids call nowadays when they watch like a Disney movie and they say the hidden Easter egg. How
Yeah.
many hidden
Yeah.
Easter eggs can you see in a Pixar? How many hidden bits can you see in a Marvel film? But my thing was how many hidden gems can you find in a so-and-so lyric or so-and-so's tune? Or did you actually realize he just said that and that? And then when you
Yeah.
take those two words and you add it to the next line, that's how
Right.
my head's going crazy out here.
Right.
Right.
my head's going
If
crazy.
for me, I could relate, you know, to both of you because when I hear a song, first of all, right, I have to make sure I like the beat. The
Yeah,
beat has
straight
to
away.
it has to attract me to the song, right? So I
You
gotta
got 5
hear the beat.
seconds
Is
to
that
grab
a
me.
banger,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then on top of that, maybe I'll listen to it again and then listen for the lyrical content, the meaning of the song and stuff like that. But it has to be a banger, something that that resonates with me, you know. And just to emphasize on what 81 said about finding the pockets, I feel like that's where I fell in love with rapping for a while and trap beats because I felt like, you know, at that time when we were listening to a lot of like, you know, South music, it was very basic, but I felt like
Yeah.
when I rapped on certain, you know, trap and South beats, I could find the pockets and do other
Yeah.
things with it that New York style and East Coast style was doing along like with the West Coast style, and it was just like something that I could be better at, you know. So that helped me kind of like express myself in that aspect when it came to, you know, building lyrics for rap songs and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most definitely. I agree with that totally.
So I want to put 81 Born and Bred on the hot spot here because I know we've
Go.
answered this question ourselves.
Da, 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 da.
So
Go on.
out of all the producers, beat makers out there, who is your favorite one and why?
Why?
I want to say, why?
Yeah.
That's a big money question. Due to where I am in my life right now, I want to say Quincy Jones.
Think about it.
I
What
want
you
to say
say?
Quincy Jones.
Quincy
Because
Jones.
he didn't make his biggest hit until he was 50, and that was Thriller.
Okay.
So that shows me a lot of perseverance in somebody that believes in their craft and their talent. And he made a lot of big records for Motown. Let's not get it twisted. So if we're talking overall, overarching, is Quincy. Yeah? He does movies. He does the whole shebang.
Yeah.
If we're saying modern day guys, I'm Timbaland. I just like the way he reinvents and he makes his own sound. I just love it. I love it. I can't help it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I'm not dissing nobody else. I know there's Just Blaze. I know there's Scott Storch. I know there's Pete
That's
Rock.
one of
I
my
know there's-
favorite right there. Scott Storch, man. Just like you said, the perseverance of, you know, up on top, you made it, you got millions, and then you fall off,
then you drop.
just to come back and do it
And then
again,
you came
it's
back.
Nothing,
Yeah,
man.
man.
That's crazy. That you
mean-
got it. You know what I mean?
And I like that story, and I feel like we can all kind of relate to it, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like you don't give up, man. Like
No,
my
yeah.
first beat, I don't know if you guys can relate, but my first beat was trash.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, compared to
My
Hey,
first
now,
10
man.
beat, my
My
first 10
first
beats were
was
trash.
a 10 out of 10 in my mind, bro. In my mind.
Yeah,
It was
right,
a
right.
winner.
And that's
It was a
awesome.
hit.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think I got a friend
Awesome.
of mine that has a demo tape that I cut for. I was in a rap group shortly
What was the
after I
group
started
called?
producing. It was called Alias 4 Styles, and there was four of us, and we all had alter egos. So basically, we had my name was what was it? It was TK. That was my name at the time, and then my other side was Tyke. So Tyke, if you look in the dictionary, stands for like a little bit of trouble. Yeah.
Okay.
So all of us had alter
He said,
egos.
yeah.
So yeah. So that was when I started making beats and stuff really for our collective, and that beat tape helped us get a little placement at a summer jam they had in Norway
Nice.
for a festival called Edutainment, and we performed over there with some artists that were from America and France and stuff like that, and it was a good, lovely, wicked experience, man. Never changed. But that gave me the confidence to make me feel like, whoa, if I can make a demo tape and give it to these people and it can get us across overseas to perform and put us in a hotel, and you know, four guys from the hood, straight from the hood, going over there and just causing mayhem in Oslo, in Norway. Yeah. We was wild. Like, we did something
Wild boys.
wild. I can't even say it, but wild. But yeah, it was an eye opener as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, man.
I mean, I think that's funny though. I remember my first artist name. It was Baby E.
Oh yeah.
Compared to yours, you're way cooler than I was, man. I'll tell you that.
Oh man.
This dude was
We
cool,
all think we
man.
were
He's
cool.
from
Because
the 80s,
I was the singer in the group, so it was us two.
I can see you,
us two and my cousin.
That's why
so
he's
I
a
sang,
fly
so
boy.
that
That's
was,
why
like,
he got
for the
less
girls,
facial
you know?
hair.
Yeah, and you guys are gonna make fun of me, but it's all good. I'm gonna speak the truth on the podcast, you know. So I was really into. I'm gonna give you a backstory before I tell you the name, but I was really into like the West Coast sound and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
So I just went with A Dog, you know.
A Dog.
A-D.
Did you have the
O-double-D.
You had the plaits coming down as well.
Yeah,
I had
did.
the braids. Yeah, I had the braids.
Yeah,
and
you
all
had
that.
to.
So I was like,
Snoop
yo,
Dogg's-
I like that, you know.
Doggy
And
Style
it
was
was,
like the first album I ever heard. Doggy Style was my first hip hop album I heard.
Man. You know, the West Coast always. I felt like that was always the East Coast West Coast thing, but I love the West Coast, like the sound. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg's, Death Row, all that. You know, it's like it's
Tupac.
rough, it's rugged. You know.
I never realized how influential the West Coast was in music, in urban music in general, until I got to like my late 20s. Then because obviously there was this whole bad boy East Coast West Coast thing, so I was like, I'm Biggie, bad boy. Biggie was my guy. I'm East Coast, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And then when I did a little bit of digging in the crates, and then I realized all the music I used to listen to when my dad was playing it, it was all like, you know, it was all guys from they were all West Coast people. Like West Coast had it on, been having it on lock for the longest while.
That's where it was. That was the you know, a lot of the record labels and all that stuff was West Coast. You know, the Beach Boys and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
it was.
If you really want to get into
and
it.
and they're still killing it. They're still killing it even now.
Yeah, they definitely. I agree. You know.
Yeah, right now I think that's where they're
just
all at. Right now, the ones that are left are still in LA. So.
Yeah. And just to emphasize on what we were talking about earlier, so it was A Dog for the alter ego, the rap name, and it was Beast Beats. You know?
Oh yeah, A Dog.
But that's all switched up, man. You know.
Yeah. I had a name before 81 Born and Bred. It was called SEMO, so it was an acronym, and it was an acronym for Style Is My Own.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I was making beats at the time, and because I was liking like what Timbaland was doing, and obviously I was purposely not trying to make anything that was already out there. And at the time, England wasn't very receptive to. There was no scene in England. You had maybe like MF Doom, that stuff used to come over here. You had guys over here like Black Twang, and you had a couple other guys over here, but it wasn't what it is today.
Yeah.
So it was really trying to make a name for myself in it place where there was no place for us in that sense. So that
So
was my first
creating
thing
your
I
own
said.
niche, pretty much.
Yeah, really, really. And then I was telling people, come on, man, let's make this hip hop because in 10 years it's gonna blow up, and
Yeah.
England's gonna be involved in it, and it's gonna be a global thing, and it's gonna be billions of pounds and dollars all over the world, and it's gonna be. And then people are looking at me like, man, you crazy. Like, you stupid.
That's how.
And
That's how it always is, man.
look at it now. You know what I mean?
And look at
Yeah.
it now. We got
Huge.
gigs going back and forth on the plane to go and
Huge,
do
bro.
stuff with linking up with Mano and doing. I've seen all over the place. So
Yeah.
I told you so.
Yeah.
Right. You know.
So I want to get into, like, speaking about your process, right? Like, I know me
Yeah.
as a beat maker and as a producer, my process can go many ways. I can
Yeah.
start with drums. I can start with a sample. I can start with a vocal. What's your favorite process? Like, how is your process made? Like, when you make a beat, how do you start your process?
I
Yeah.
used to start with the drums, but now I think now that I understand beat pattern and programming to that extent. That's what I think when you're making when you're making drums and percussions and hi hats, that's fundamentally your programming.
Yeah.
Whether you're dotting them in on Fruity Loops or you're hitting the MIDI keyboard, you're still doing a form of programming. The things for me that kind of carries music is the melody.
Mm.
It's always going to be
Yeah.
the melody. So I would start with a melody, with a loop sometimes, but if I have a loop or a sample, I'm always flipping.
Yeah.
I'm always
Yes.
looking for a way to change it straight away to make it unique.
Make it your
always
own
trying
as
to
well,
find-
you know?
Definitely. Always trying to find out what the root chord is, extracting chords from it and flipping it in general.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
nowadays
I like that.
nowadays I really start with the melody. Nowadays I really start. And if I don't like the melody, then it's not gonna go. I won't.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I've got beats that I've made and I've started with the melody as a guideline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just as I know I want it to kind of go this way and that. And then when I think, okay, I've got the beat, and then I'll come back to it a couple of days later, and I'm like, that's not it. I know what I'm trying to do, so I'll go back in again. I'll flip it again. I'll try and tweak it again. But yeah. It's mainly starting with the melodies, getting a vibe, getting a feeling, more than trying to, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's important too. Is like making sure that you actually like the beat, right? And not just not working on the beat just to work on it. And I know sometimes I feel like I force it on some beats, and you got to take a break, like you said. But I mean, what's your favorite method, Fela? Like, what do you like to do when it comes to that?
Well, I think I can agree with what 81 said, which is starting with the melody, right?
Yeah.
Because I gotta make something that I feel I could put a beat to, and just by making the melody, I could dictate what type of beat I want to make, what feeling it gives me, right? Like maybe I'm in the mood to make an R&B, so I play some nice soft piano chords, or maybe I'm in the mood for some reggaeton, so I'll start some some plucks and leads and synths, or maybe I'll do some trap stuff, But I feel like I have to start with the melody most of the time, right? Because I could start with anything really, but I feel like it builds the base, the foundation for what I'm trying to do when it comes to the beat, and I feel like when it comes to sampling, it could go both ways for me. I can flip the sample completely, or if the sample really resonates with me, then I'll use it, and keep it simple. Add a few minor changes and just keep it simple and add my own contribution to the sample. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a
feel
very
like
good point Abs made
yeah.
there. That's a very good. Sometimes you gotta know when to leave it alone.
Yeah.
You gotta know when to kind of put down your paintbrush and say, okay, I'm not
just
gonna
a little
no more.
few things
Yeah.
here and there.
And I feel like that's the hardest part for me, is because I'm such a creative person. That's like, I feel like I can always add something here and there. But like my brother, like I've seen my brother make beats, and it's like his simplicity and creativity, the way that he makes it come out on those speakers. I'm like, man, that's something that's admirable, because a lot of the times I feel like I oversaturate something that I'm doing just because it's hard, right, to kind of let it go. You want to keep working on your baby.
They're your babies. Yeah.
So I feel like for me, that's probably the hardest part, is kind of just letting
That
it.
I think that comes with experience, like with time of just working, and then you'll realize, okay, actually, you know what I'm hearing is another beat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm hearing, what I used to do is when I got to that point, I would open another project, and whatever was in my head, I would put it on. I'll just start another page and put it there, save it, and then go back to what I'm doing. And it's almost like I've separated the two in my mind, because now I'm hearing. It's almost like I'm making a beat, and then as I'm making a beat, I'm making a remix to the beat that I'm making at the time. It's like, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Then your beat starts going somewhere you didn't intend it to go. I'm guilty of that. Definitely guilty of that. But over time, you kind of know, all right, stop here. This is exactly where it's supposed to be. Maybe even sometimes just step away, take 10, 15 minutes, clear your head, let your ears rest, come back. Because I'm sure we've all done mixes that we think is the bomb. And one day, come back the next morning, it's like, that's all over the place.
That's garbage.
Yeah, oh man.
That's all over the place.
That's
so
trash.
what was I thinking, man? Another thing I can add to what you guys were saying, the reason why lately, I guess, I keep the beats more simple is because I think about an artist on the track, right? I'm thinking more about making tracks. And there's different types of beats you can make. You can make, the beat as creative as you want. Doesn't mean that it's not, it's not good or bad. It just means that that's the feeling you were trying to go for at the moment. And I can't go and to a beat battle with simple beats. I have to go into a beat battle with heat, So I feel like you got to know the difference between those. And I feel like it took me a while to get to that point to be like, all right, well, let me not oversaturate it. It sounds muddy. Let me take it out. And a lot of times what helps me, these are some gems right here. It helps me to export the sample that I just created, export it, give my ears time to breathe while it exports, think about it, put it back, and then put the 808s in, and then I mute the 808s so my ears don't drown out. And then I'll go back and put the 808s back in. And then that way my ears aren't so drowned with all the, low end. Because I feel like a lot of times when the 808s are bumping, man, I just don't want to make beats right now. I just want to go.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it happens to me too. I feel drowned, like my ears feel drowned. Like even when I'm mixing or anything, sometimes I'll pass it on to Fela and I'll be like, hey, take a listen, man. Let me know what you think, And I think that's also
set of ears.
That's very helpful too. Like if you have someone that can give you a second ear or a second opinion.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Normally I give wifey a shout and I'm like, is this it? And she's like, wifey used to play the drums as well.
Yeah.
So she'd be
oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, she'd be like, she lends her musical ear, you know what I'm saying? She'd tell me, there's a couple of songs I've made, and she's like, ooh, you got to put that on the next, whatever you're doing coming up. And I'm like, okay, that's a go.
That's what's up, man.
But it's always good to get feedback. It's always good to get, because somebody will hear something that you, at the time when you listen and playing that loop back to yourself over and over again, and you're locked in for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
You're gonna go eardrum, as I call it. You're not gonna hear anything after a while. So you definitely have to step away. And when it comes to mixing, you definitely have to step away and give it a little rest.
Yeah, and a lot of times, it's important, man, definitely. Like, okay, for the drums, right? A lot of times for me when I make melodies and stuff, I'm like, yo, I made this beat, right? And I talk to my brother, to Calo. That's that's the new name, Calo. I talk to my brother.
It's okay, you can call me Ebner, bro.
And I'm like, hey, yo, see if you could do something to this, add some drums or whatever. And then he goes in there, he kills it. I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted it to, to come out with. So I was like, all right, that's what's up. That's the one right there, Because sometimes you just can't do it. You're like, man, I just really can't find the right drum pattern for this,
Yeah, and I think it's a good feeling. Like sometimes you kind of want to take a break, right? But if you give somebody that second ear, then they could think of something else and another.
So
and I love collaborating too. That's another thing that I love, whether it's with artists or producers.
Definitely.
I love doing that.
Yeah, collaborations is always a good thing. But then in this time that we're in right now, when everybody's a producer, it's kind of hard to find the right people to collaborate with. Because I've been in some situations where I know me and Ab's done a collaboration. We're probably due to do some more.
Definitely, yes.
I just get garbage. People send me garbage, or they send me something kind of like you really ain't tried. And when I first started out doing collabing and making the beats and trying to finesse myself in that sense and find out what where I fit. I found that I was putting in more work into the collaboration than some of these other producers that were sending me over stems or sending me over loops. And then I quickly caught on to the fact that, you guys are sending me loops out of a pack. So you ain't really doing nothing. You understand?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a pack that I ain't heard. And then it's like, and then when I hear what they've done on there, when I send it back to them and I hear what they do on top, because I believe a collaboration is a two-way thing. I don't think that somebody can send you a melody and say, now drop your drums on that, or finish it off for me, and then that's a collab. It's like, nah, I'm gonna do a little bit, and I'm gonna send it back to you, and you should do a little bit more, and then we see where we are. You understand?
Right.
But I had a lot of people just hitting me up with the let's collab. I'm gonna send you a pack, and they send me like 7 melodies, and they expect me to finish the 75% of the track and send it back to them, and then they say, oh, we gonna split fifth, and I'm like, that's not how, because I'm sitting down here. I don't know where you got those melodies from.
Yeah.
If I look at your resume, it don't sound like you play your own melodies. You understand? It sounds like everything comes from a loop. So, really, what's going on?
I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, you have to be able to trust who you're collaborating with, and I don't have a problem with using loops or samples or anything.
No.
I just feel like you said earlier, you should make it your own, not just drag and drop it. That's pure laziness, like you said.
I'm hearing like no filter on it. I'm hearing no kind of effects on it. I'm not hearing any kind of glitching on it. I ain't hearing guy trying to flip it. It just sounds like he just took it out the stock, out the box, and put it in my Gmail. And just said, go. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't sound like, this don't sound fair. This don't seem fair.
Yeah.
This is how a lot of these producers now, let's be real. A lot of the producers have got a lot of beats on their BeatStar page or whatever store they got, because they be sending out beat packs, and they're getting people that are not really clued up to the game, who are hungry to get on. And these guys are taking up all their beat packs and they're making it, and then they're getting them, sending them back beats, and it's making their page look crazy, like they're crazy producers, but all they're doing is sending out loop packs.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like to emphasize on that, for a lot of producers, and I'm going to put that in quotes, right? Producers, right? Because there's a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a producer, I'm a beat maker. It's like, man, you really have to give yourself time to mold with your craft. You can't just say you're something that you're not, bro. So a lot of times you get a lot of these producers, right, that are not producers. They're just people that make melodies or people that like to make beats.
Would you say they're beat makers or producers?
And it's like I get it. Sometimes people are just good at making melodies. That's great.
Yeah.
So that's then don't call yourself a music producer or a beat maker. Just be like, hey, I sell melodies and sample packs. I would like to collab with one of my melodies. You know what I mean? Here you go. You know what I mean? Instead of talking about like, oh, let's collab and make a beat together. Like you said, though, it's like when you're doing 75% of the work, it's really tough because you're like, man, I made this beat. You just gave me the melody or the sample or whatever, Yeah. And I can remember when I sent 81 a melody. It was a simple chord progression. Just for the sakes of the video, I wanted to see what he can come up with so we can put it on the video because I thought it'd be cool, to have a UK producer do whatever he wants with it, and then put it on the video, like, check this out, you know what I mean? And that beat was fire, by the way.
So. No, I was listening to it the other day. That beat still bangs. Yeah, that beat still bangs.
Banging, yeah, for sure.
I had another question. So for any, like, up-and-coming producer, and all this information was great, so if you guys are listening, pay attention because this is knowledge from years and years of music production here. But just another question, like some advice that you would give to an up-and-coming music producer that is just starting off. Like, what's some advice that you can give them?
Yeah, learn your craft. There's no shortcuts. Yeah, learn your craft. Yeah. They have this theory. I'm sure everybody heard about the 10,000 hour theory. I wouldn't even focus on that. I would just say, however you can get it in, get it in. Everybody has a different life. Some, the young guys coming up, you may not have responsibilities in your life as yet. Some of you may. Some of you, I had kids at 21, so I always had to make sure that certain things were taken care of first. But always just perfect your craft. Take your time. Don't rush. Don't rush to make a beat and just put it out. Yeah. If you're somebody that makes one good beat a day, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that makes 5 good beats a day, that's fine too. Yeah, but you don't have to keep up with anybody, because there's a lot of pressure out here with social media, with a lot of these guys saying 100 beats for $12.99, and then hey,
let's pause. Let's pause there real quick, guys.
I think I struck a nerve, people.
If you're selling 100 beats for $12.99, this is just loop packs out the box right there.
But this is what I'm saying to you. Now, these are the people that will be sending you loops, sending loops to young producers that are eager to get on, not vulnerable, but eager to get on. Then they get their whole mailbox flooded back from like 10 different young producers who've made 10 beats from each of them, and now they've got 100 beats that they didn't even make, and now they want to sell them for $12.99. You understand? So I would say
that's a good price, though. No, I'm just joking.
That's a good price.
$12.99. How about $9.99?
Damn, yeah. But then what are you in it for? You have to ask yourself what you in it for. Also, that's a serious question. You have to kind of answer to yourself: are you in it for the love of the money? I guess there's no wrong answer apart from the only wrong answer is not being real with yourself.
Yeah.
That will probably be the wrong answer. But just learn your craft. Take your time. They've got so many free bits of software out here today compared to when I was coming up that you don't even need to buy a program nowadays. You can download stuff for free, and you can get a VST from here, get a free sound pack when you subscribe to so and so's page, and there's all these avenues of making beats. But just learn your craft. Just listen to music, understand what makes drill, what makes West Coast, and then find your own style.
Exactly.
Yeah. Find your own style. Even if you have to incorporate, which is really good. If something is in the top 40, if drills pop in right now and you want to make music and you want to come through, then you're going to have to know that you have to incorporate some of the drill elements into what you're doing to break through, because people's ear is already drawn to drill. Once you've got them listening to what you're doing, then you can slowly bring them over. Kanye West is a perfect example. When he came out, he did the Through the Wire and all that, and that was like, it's still hip boom bap hip hop. Yeah. Slowly, 808 Heartbreaks came out, and then you had all the other albums. Now he makes easy music. He has his own demographic of people that like what he does, but he had to start off by tickling people's ear, getting them to understand, he can do stuff I like, and then he can also sprinkle his own little sauce on the top. Yeah. So always try and find your own identity. It's okay to, everybody gets influenced and inspired by what's already out there, because that's how I got here. I'm sure that's how you two guys got here. But at the same time, try and find your own style. Yeah, because it'll serve you better going forward, because trends only last for so long, and then when the trend changes, what you gonna do?
Exactly.
Something I can emphasize on what you were talking about, how producers sell their packs for $12.99, right? And this is something that I've been discussing with my brother for a while, right? It's like, well, what price should we give the beats that we put on the BeatStars page? Because we want to make it affordable so people can purchase the beats and not feel overwhelmed to spend a lot amounts of money. Because we as music producers, we care about the artists as well, right? Because it's a collaboration effort, right? But it's like, it's getting to the point where it's like, we have to name our price, right? Because you can only go so long, right? Giving an artist an opportunity and a chance. But at some point, it has to get to the point where you have built yourself. You're on a foundation, a base. So name your price. Because you don't go to, Porsche or Lamborghini and say, hey, I got $50,000 for a car. No, they're going to be like, you could leave. Yeah. You know what I mean? At what point, what standard, do you set your price? Because, like I said, it's getting to the point where I am close enough to just name my price and just leaving it like that. Because at this point out in my life as a music producer, I don't care about the money,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and I think
I just care about the craft, and like, if you feel my beat is good enough, then pay what I'm asking for. If not, then keep it moving.
Yeah, straight up. I agree with you. But I think the business model in general for producers is changing, and how we operate is changing. because you've got so many people making beats online and selling beats, and everybody charging what they're charging for whatever they see. It's going to be at the top level. The top cream are going to get what they ask for their beats.
Yeah.
Everybody underneath that is kind of vying or kind of fighting to get to a spot where they can get a reputable artist on their beat, which then raises their stock, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to make sure, you kind of have to make it appetizing to people so they want to come and buy your beats and at least listen to your beats, you know?
Yeah.
And then if your paperwork's straight, if they get a place, if it goes viral or starts popping, then they got to double back to you for, for contracts and whatever. So you have to kind of be savvy with what you're doing. For instance, when I came in, I was like, I'm not selling a beat for no less than, I don't know, $100. I'm not having no one. This is my music. F anybody that don't buy my, if they don't understand it, then they don't deserve it. But then all my beats are sitting on my hard drive. They're not going nowhere because everybody's undercutting. So it is cutthroat, right?
Yeah, it is.
But then there's also the side of it where you can try and find an artist to invest in or work with, and then he can bring your work some shine. When he starts popping, people are gonna say, where did he get that from? And then he can direct that traffic towards you. What I've kind of done right now is I've changed my model where I offer free downloads on all my beats. But it's a tagged MP3. 1. 2, if you have no contract, you can't use it for profit purposes anyway. And that means you can't really. If I find it on Spotify or iTunes or YouTube, because I register all my beats that I make through my distribution company, through who I use, which is DistroKid. So once it flags up on Content ID or on Spotify or whatever, then I know it's up there. Hey, cease and desist will come back for the contract. Either way, you don't have to pull it down. But if I write to Spotify and I write to iTunes on a DCMA or DMCA, they have to take it down. So.
And I think at some point, like as a producer, you have to kind of respect yourself, right? And know your worth, know what you bring to the table. And as artists, I feel like artists need to respect their producers as well, or whoever they're working with. And it goes hand in hand. It's like, I just wish artists weren't looking for, what's the best free beat I can get out here? Or just because you can't afford, like, it's just a simple conversation. I'm pretty sure people will work with you,
Right.
What kills me the most is that artists want free beats, but they're ready to go on a video and stunt like they got all the money in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
I agree.
Now that is one.
When we were making our music videos and stuff, because we were rapping and making music for a while, we weren't showing things we didn't have. We were showing things that were real to us, things that we had, things that we could be, showing in a video. We weren't going out and spending, $100 a day on a Ferrari or whatever, $200 a day on a Ferrari.
Yeah, I wish that would have been dope.
Just to be like, hey, I'm driving this. Dog, no, you're not. I put my Honda in the video. My little Honda, our little cars in the video. You know what I'm saying? If I had a little wooden rosary, I put my wooden rosary on, man. What's up?
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I got. You don't like it? Hey, it is what it is. I ain't gonna be faking it out here just to make it, like people say.
I think we're getting to a crisis point in music right now, where everybody's showing out.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a couple people about this a couple years ago, and I think it was when Kendrick dropped "To Pimp a Butterfly," the album, and I said, for an artist like Kendrick, he doesn't have to come out. And all he's got to do is drop an album every 4 years because of his content and what he stands for.
Right.
But when he comes out, the reception that he receives is like people that are thirsty. Yeah. And then after a while, people then they want to get lit, turn up, want to wear change, whatever, and shake, doesn't want to twerk, shake the ass, whoa. I think we're getting to a point right now where people are starting to realize that there needs to be more substance to hip hop, to music in general. And I think in the next 3 to 5 years, we're gonna see a shift where it's gonna be, it's gonna be played out. It's gonna be played out. People are gonna want to hear something, feel something.
I mean, yeah, like to emphasize on that, what you just said, the perfect example of hip hop right now for, upcoming artists would be somebody like Kendrick or even J. Cole. They
J.
have
Cole, yeah,
substance, like
yeah,
you said, to their music. Like, yeah, it's the same trap style that everybody's rapping on, but listen to what they're saying. They're not saying,
yeah.
"Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da." Yeah. Du-du-du-du. It's like
Don't get me
they
wrong. The
have
machine
lyrical
will always want
content,
money. Yeah.
and that's
Don't get me wrong.
that I believe that will come back. Just like you said, it will. It just takes time. Everything comes back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. You hit the nail on the head. Everything comes back, and sure as 1 year, Air Forces will be after a while. Air Forces come back. You know what I'm saying after a while,
I still like it. I still like
everybody's.
the Air Force.
Yeah, I know. In England, it's like in England when Air Forces came out, they were 55 to 60 pounds. Air Forces now are 90 pounds, almost 100 pounds. White, same
wow.
white one.
Wow.
So it just shows you that now.
And
okay,
what's the equivalent of 90 pounds to US dollars? What would you say?
what over here, or over your side?
Yeah, like 90 pounds over there is the equivalent to how many US dollars?
Oh, that's you look like 180. No, 130, $40.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But everything is like fashion. Everything goes round.
Yeah,
Everything
exactly. And that's why I
has-
feel like
everything goes
music
round.
is like fashion, like you're saying. It
Yeah.
it's like a circle. I mean, what do you guys think it's gonna be next? Like it's gonna go back to the real hip hop. That's what you guys are saying, right?
I think so.
I
R&B
believe
is
so.
making a resurgence. R&B is making a resurgence. I'm sure you guys see a lot of our old '90s R&B groups now getting booked to do shows together at stadiums, where they used to headline on their own. Now they're all merging together. You get Drew Hill, Genuine, H-Town. You get all these guys from the night. They're all Maya, all on the same bill. It's starting to feed back round, and I've been alive long enough. Make it sound like I'm a dinosaur, but I've been alive long enough to see it be the golden era '90s and the golden era of R&B to fade away, to get Lil Wayne era, to get T.I. era, Jeezy era, Rick Ross. Yeah, and now we're coming all the way back round. Now we're starting to come. Now you got what's his name, Corday. You know what I'm saying? He's another one. He's a young one that's coming up. I think he's a.
I haven't heard of him.
Now he's a young rapper from in the States that he does big numbers, but he doesn't. He's kind of like he's kind of like Logic. You remember Logic? I'm sure you guys heard of Logic.
Yeah, Logic.
And Jonah Lucas and stuff, guys like that.
I like that.
Those are dudes that are really underrated, man. Kind of like Pusha T.
Yeah.
Pusha is my guy. Pusha's my guy.
Yo, man, so
Listen.
underrated, man. Him and his brother.
Yes, he's an
crazy,
MC.
bro.
Double entendres, subliminal.
Crazy, bro.
But even he's realized where the state of hip hop is. Instead of him going hard and putting out music all the time, he's diversified his portfolio, where now he kind of works on other fields. You know what I'm saying? I think he's the president of good music at one point. He had his hand in the pocket with, I think, Puma or Adidas at one point. So you learn how to, and I watch these things as well. Like I watch how people run themselves as entrepreneurs as well. So as well as these guys were dope lyricists, they realized they can see what the environment is for music in general, and you can make more money doing this rather than doing that now, because things have gone to streaming. You don't get the money off the physical copy of your album anymore. Streaming numbers are ridiculous for you to make money. So really, you need to make sure you've got concerts, venue merch tickets. You need to make sure you've got sync placements on movies. That he'll get more money doing a rap for a movie than he would get for his own if he dropped a single.
Yeah, man. And nowadays it's going even crazier with the NFTs. I know, I'm pretty sure you guys heard about that.
Yeah.
That's, who was it that sold a million? He made $1 million in 50 something seconds. It was Tory Lanez dropped a NFT like a track.
Yeah.
And in 50 something seconds he made $1 million. Boom.
I feel like
that Tory,
Yeah, Tory Lanez. I feel like the
Tory Lanez,
only negative thing about that is the copyright issue. Who does this belong to? That's my question. Does it belong to the
Everybody.
artist, or does it
No.
belong to the person that bought
So have you
the
heard
song?
have you heard Nas now? Nas has got a new one out right now. I think is it a new album or is it a new piece of work that he's done. And if you buy the NFT for that, everybody that buys the NFT will receive royalties from the value of the NFT or that the piece of work that the NFT represents. So
That's
it's kind of like
definitely new. You know,
it sounds like a Kickstart. It sounds like a digital Kickstart if you think about it, because
Yeah.
everybody chips in, but everybody gets back. So
Right.
the landscape is changing. This is why I said I had to kind of change the way I price my beats and the way I look at stuff now, because
Right.
going back to what we said, we know ourselves as producers and we have value. But there has to be a separation between business and emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like when I first started making beats, right? It was so hard for me to let go of my beats, man.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
I was like, nah, I can't sell these. No, I can't. And people were like, yo, I'll buy them off you. This and that. I was like, nah, I don't want to get rid. It's like your babies, you know. Like I always say, those are my
yeah,
babies.
they're like
the beats.
your children. They're like your
and
children.
and then it got to the point where I was like, they're just sitting in my hard drive, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, and I just closed my eyes and let it go. And I think what helped me was when I was in college and my hard drive filled with beats got stolen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And I had to start all over
Ooh.
again from zero. And I was like, I was devastated for like a week. I was like, that's it. It's not meant for me. I'm gonna stop making beats. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is God telling me to stop. Like I thought it was a sign, but in reality, it was the motivation I
more.
needed to push harder and
you
keep
can
going.
make you can make more, bro. You can make more, and that's the other
Right.
thing that I had to realize. You know, I may sell this fire beat, but I made that fire beat. So if I
Yeah.
made it once, I can do it again. If I can make one sale, then I can make two sales, then I
It's
can
all
make
here,
three
bro.
sales. So it's
It's
all
all
yeah.
here.
You will stop yourself. You'll get in your own way, and they say
Yeah.
don't block your blessings, right? So that's I relate to Ab so much. When I started making beats, I was scared to put my beats on beats. I had a BeatStar page, and I didn't want to put no beats on it. But I was paying the subscription.
I
So
know,
how does
man.
that make sense? In my mind, logically, that ain't smart.
No.
I'm paying Abe at BeatStars money for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
It's crazy, man.
yeah.
I think for me, it was more like I would make a beat and I'd ask my brother or my cousin, people around me that were artists, if they don't want the beat or they can't make something to it, I'm gonna sell it. And I think that's
Right.
where
Yeah.
that's where the kind of like the crossing point was, where no one can make anything to it, then it's not for us, it's not for me, it's for another artist. And I think that's
Yeah.
where I kind of made that decision on my own, you know, because I was just like
Right.
Abner too, where I'd be vaulting them, and just for
Yeah,
like
man.
future projects, right? Quote quote. But in reality, it's because you know you love the beat, you know. So
Yeah.
And you probably
Yeah,
haven't
and that's
heard it
what
in like the last year or something. It's just sitting there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just but why do we make music in the first place? It's for other people to hear it,
right,
Right.
right? You don't. A painter doesn't paint a picture, so you can close your eyes when you see it, right? He makes
Yeah.
it to be seen.
yeah,
So when we make music, we make it to be heard, and
Yes.
sometimes
That's the best way
you
to
have
put
go
it.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go back to the essence of why you do it. I do it every time I make a beat, I have to check myself and say, okay, you're making this so it goes somewhere. You're not making it so it sits in your hard drive. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then once you get over that, then you start looking forward to the next beat
yeah,
and the next project and the next collab and
Right.
the next artist. Yeah, but you're gonna come across a lot of hurdles and a lot of things that's gonna scare you and shake you. But I reckon if you got your business about you, and that's the first, I guess, note, learn your business and learn
Yeah.
what you want, understand what you're trying to do out here. No, it's you can do it. You can definitely do it. You can definitely make. But there's so
Yeah.
many avenues nowadays. You don't just need an artist to make a successful living off making music.
One thing I wanted to say too, that you were talking about earlier, like one piece of advice, right? So I didn't say anything about it because I was really listening to what you were saying.
Yeah.
But one piece of advice that I can give to an upcoming music producer is, you know, do it straight for a year, right? Do it straight for a year. And if you feel that if you can stop it, just stop doing it, then it's not for you. But if you feel like
Yeah.
if you can't go a day without making music, making beats, if you can't go a day without it, because I know I can't. I'm constantly thinking
that's a
about
wrap.
that. Even if I didn't do it that day, I'm like, I'm so disappointed in myself.
yeah.
I wanted to
that's
make a
how
beat.
I
But
literally
that's how
get a
much,
headache.
and I feel like
I
that's how much you have to
crazy.
love it. You know, like if you love it that much, then it's
Yeah.
for you. Keep going. Don't stop because you never know what can happen. You know.
And that's you know what, I salute that. I salute that so much because like I was saying, if I don't make music, if I go 3 days without making a beat,
Oh
it's
my
like it
God.
all backs up in my head, and I get like a headache. Yeah, and then I have to come. I have to listen to some music. I have to go and sing in the shower, and then I have to come
Yeah,
and
man.
mix that because it's like it all backs up. And I don't know why it's so strange, but
Yeah.
you know, there's times when my computer used to, you know, we've all had you know hardware issues where our computer's not working no more.
Oh
I've got to
man.
wait for the
Oh
guy to
man.
get there.
Don't even
We've
start
all
with
been
that, bro.
We got to change out the hard drive and put an SSD, and we're waiting for it to come from Amazon. And I'm like a fiend. I'm just scratching.
Stalking the
Yeah.
post office guy. Hey,
I start
you got my
banging
package?
spoons on shit. You understand? I want so all that shit. That yeah, it's deep out here. And then I realized, you know what? That's when you know who. That's why I know I'm a. You guys call me a producer, because that's what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't do it, something's wrong with me. Like I start getting cranky, and wifey's like, go and do something, and go and make some music, because get out
Go
of my
and do
head.
something. Yep. Yep.
Go do something. Yeah, and I need to do it. I need to do it. So, and when you have the passion for it, it's not a chore,
Yeah.
right? It's not a chore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It kind of takes you away from everyday life for me. That's what it
Oh,
does.
definitely.
It's kind of a getaway when you can't go on a
It's
vacation.
like an escapism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Music inspires me and it drives me to keep going, you know, and I'm pretty sure you guys can
Yeah.
relate. I did want to
sure.
get into 81 Born and Bred. Would we ever hear any of those raps from back in the day?
Bah, 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 bah.
Any of those, sorry?
Yeah, the rap songs that you used to have. Do you have any old ones from back in the day?
Oh, man.
Maybe we can do another podcast where we listen.
DJ in the mix, counting down.
In the mix. Oh, snap. Yeah. There's some on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
You got me busted. It's on the style as my own. Snap. Yeah. And insert edit here.
Yeah, I'll insert
And then you
it.
cut back.
Or I'll put it on the
No, but yeah,
description or
they're all-
something, just so we can all
It's on
listen.
YouTube.
57.
I'll send you guys the
44,
link.
timestamp
I'll
it.
send you guys the link. I've got oh my god, I knew they'll come in handy one day.
Yeah.
I knew they'll come. See, I made them because I just felt like, and I put them on YouTube, and I tried to take them off YouTube because I thought, you know what, I want to start off as a beat maker, so I don't want nobody finding my stuff like, and going back.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember the actual email that I set the account up, so they're just stuck on YouTube. So yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna send you guys a link. There's about 8.
Oh, that's cool,
There's
man.
about 8 on
That's
there.
cool.
There's
man.
about 4 tracks with lyrics, I think, and the rest of them might be some.
I wish I wish we had like old stuff like that. I think one of our cousins had a cassette, but we never got it. You know.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
some. I have some old unreleased songs from back in the day.
Unreleased. Damn. You got the
Unreleased.
stuff.
Never to
Unreleased.
be
Purple
seen.
tape. You got
Go
the purple tape, right?
Yeah, we used to record in Audacity. I don't know if you're familiar with that program.
Nah, yeah.
You gotta keep clicking it.
Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, I wanted to talk to you also about like the whole COVID situation over there. How is that? Like, were you guys on lockdown or like? Because I know we were on lockdown. We were for a while, so I just want to get your take on that.
Yeah.
Kind of.
We was on lockdown. It wasn't nice. They tried to have us on the doorsteps, though, on our front doorsteps every Thursday, clapping for the healthcare system.
What? Wow.
Yeah. That was stupid because they can't hear you from your doorstep.
That's
Right? The hospitals can't hear you clapping from
Or
your
can
doorstep.
they?
But it just made everybody else feel better. I stepped
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
of my door and I just saw everybody on the road like lemmings.
Yeah, well,
standing there
They can hear you. They can hear you. They're hearing you right now through your phone. Conspiracy theories.
going, yeah, bro, come on. I was like, I'm going back inside to make some beats. That's what I said. I'm going back inside to make some beats.
But that's kind of
But yeah, we was on lockdown.
that's kind of interesting though. Like how like for us, I know we were on lockdown, and a lot of people were losing their jobs. A lot of people were working from home. But man, just to,
man.
like that's what the UK would do. They'd bring you outside, and you'd have to clap outside.
For 5 minutes at 6
Wow.
o'clock on a Thursday, we were clapping for the healthcare. Anybody in the world knows where a clap gonna do shit for you. Pardon my language, bleep it out. But ain't a clap gonna do nothing for you. If you got COVID and I clap next to you, that ain't saving your life.
Yeah.
If you got if you losing your job and I stand next to you and I clap my hands, you are not getting your job back. Yes, I don't know what the clapping was for.
Yeah.
But they thought it did something. I think it made everybody feel better about something they knew absolutely nothing about, and we still know nothing about what's going on.
Yeah.
I have my suspicions of what it is, but I don't want to go off the dome and start ranting on here. But yeah, you just get on.
If you want, you can give us a minute of it. You know, if you want, you can just sneak in a minute or two of it and talk about it.
It's a load of rubbish.
Give us your thoughts about
yeah,
this.
it's just my thoughts personally is it's control. It's population control. That's my whole thing. My whole thing is population control. There's too many people on the earth. There's not enough food. And you know, it's easier to kill people than to help them.
Yeah.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper. I'm sorry, it sounds a bit callous and a bit rough, but
I mean it's true though.
Human nature is just the way the powers that be they think it's easier just to do what they want to do and carry on with it. So, you know, in the meantime, in between time, just have to move accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was hearing, just to emphasize on this, I know we don't want to talk too much about this, but I was hearing a podcast with Joe Rogan, and he had a doctor on there, something Malone, and he was talking about how the COVID vaccine can affect men and women negatively. So it affects women's ovaries in a negative way, and their egg supply. Yep. And also a man's reproductive system as well. So basically, like he said, sterile, you know, if you can't reproduce and have, kids and make families, then the population is decreased over time.
It's decreased.
Maybe not right away, but over time, it will be decreased.
You know? Over time, yeah.
Right. And that's what it is, population control. I agree.
The fact that they're willing to make everybody take an injection that has no data provided by it to say what's its health benefits or
synthetic,
what
by the way,
side effects it is. Yeah. So, and what really killed me is it came from China, and then within 2 months of it leaving China, China decided to start making PPE. I said, yeah, that's the biggest. If there's ever a business model, they got it on smash. So who made the most money in COVID? Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Because they decided to shut down all their infrastructure and start making PPE because the world didn't have enough PPE. I sat back and I was talking to my wifey and I said, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. And sure and behold, all those things happen. So I'm just going to save up my money, make my beats. We got Wi-Fi around the world, and when I'm ready, I'm going to go home to St. Lucia, and I'm going to sit in my house, and I'm going to make beats. And I'm just going to watch the world go to shit from my balcony, bro. I'm just going to watch it go to shit from my island, because there's, let's be real. Yeah. None of us are in a position to do anything. Even our most powerful people in the world, like I know, like the people that we look up to that have billions, they can't do nothing either, man. It's bigger than everybody out there. So stay safe, stay healthy, look after yourself. And, I think there was a nurse in America that was saying when this all kicked off, she was on Capitol Hill. I think she was an African lady. And she was saying the medication to actually combat the COVID vaccine is ready. We already have it. Yeah. It's just already it's already installed, like stuff that we've had for how many years. We just got to use it. And she apparently lost her license since, and and she's not allowed to speak in public, and obviously they discredited her and all the rest. So
yeah, I mean, and the biggest question is why?
Yeah.
Why? Because
that's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother.
Right, but that's fine. But I just want to put that out there. The real question is why?
Why?
And think about that. Why? There you go.
Well, I just wanted to get your take on it because I know we're in America, and I thought UK was a little different, obviously. But
we feel it a bit more, I think, because we're a small island. You guys have a big. You look at 51, 52 states. You lot can take it. Some of you guys don't even leave America and go on holiday. Yeah. Correct. So you can. Some of you. I think my wife was telling me like there's a majority of you guys. Some of you guys don't even have a passport because you don't even really leave America because it's so big that you could be from the north where it's cold and go down to Miami and have a tropical holiday. Yeah. And you still ain't left. You still ain't left the States, but it's true. You can get all different kind of, vibes from living in America. In England, we're one little island stuck in the middle of Europe, and it rains like 9 months of the year, and it's always cold. So when lockdown happens for us, it is like being locked down. We can't travel. And they didn't even want us to travel inside the UK. We had to stay, you know what I'm saying? We had to stay within our areas, like within our, I live in a county called Buckinghamshire. Then you have London. So I'm outside of London. Then you have London itself. So they were trying to keep everybody where they want them to be. But, you know, fear, panic, fear.
Yeah.
And then you get people to fear you, then they do what you say, right? So.
Right.
And I think that's like right now, everybody in America, I think there's travel bans as well. Even to travel to PR as well. Like you have to have a vaccine, I heard, to travel with your
there's
passport.
certain criteria you have to meet now. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. But I heard soon they're gonna start implementing. Sorry, pardon me. Where if you don't have the vaccine, then you don't go to work. And if you don't go to work, then you can't get no money. If you ain't got no money, you can't go to the supermarket and buy food. If you can't buy food, then you can't pay your rent. And if you ain't got a job, you can't pay your rent. I mean, then you're homeless. So you cannot take the vaccine if you don't want to. That's fine. That's your personal choice. But you can also be homeless. That's your choice.
It's very scary, though, because a lot of people are dying from that stuff. A lot of people are getting medical issues, you know, health-wise. I've seen a lot of people getting seizures. I've seen a lot of people not being able to walk after. And I feel like what they're doing is like 1 out of 5 vaccines. One of them's the bad one, but all the other 4 are good. So it's like people could take the same Pfizer, let's say, and you can get sick, but I can't because only that one had the bad ingredient in there.
I've also seen on the news that that guys got doctors and nurses quitting their jobs. Yeah, because they know. And guys in the service as well, like in the military, is because they're finally starting to realize what's going on, and they don't want to take the vaccine. So they're saying, okay, then you can't come to work no more. You've lost your service, and because you was in the military and they was looking after your family, well, you've lost all your benefits, even though you may have been on 2 tours of war already. They're just kicking you to the curb. So
and I believe America is headed to another civil war, bro.
I called it. I can
feel it. I can feel it in the air, man. It's like things aren't looking so good, and everybody's. And
I feel sorry for you guys because you guys are allowed
you have
to
a bunch of people saying yes, a bunch of people saying no. So what's gonna happen? No. What's gonna, you're gonna have to fight it out. You know?
Yeah, just don't go to Texas, that's where all the guns are.
But the guns are everywhere. Let's be real.
Guns
but you know what I mean. Texas motherfuckers don't care. They just.
I feel like I'm waiting for them to start. No. Yeah, I'm waiting for them to start board up certain parts of the states. When I see them start protecting places of what they will call it national interest, but that's where the money's kept. Yeah, so when they start putting walls and gates around your New York and your LAs and it's gonna be and then they're gonna leave everybody in the middle to look after themselves, and then because it's not gonna be a police state in those areas. Yeah, like the Midwest. Yeah, they're gonna. Everyone's got guns because even you don't need it. You can walk into Walmart and buy a gun. And even if you don't have a license, a guy on the corner who's a plug. If you've got enough money from doing what you do, you can buy a gun. So it's gonna be the Wild West over there, man. It's gonna happen over in England as well because England's like a mini version of America. We follow you guys, but we're always like 2-3 years behind. But we do it in a way that, we would never. The politicians are like, we would never do that, but they'll do it on a low key level. Yeah, they'll do it on a lower key, but they'll get the idea because politically, England's always been the little brother or the little cousin of the States. Yeah.
Well, not to put a damp on the conversation, I just want to kind of get your input on that because it's I feel like we all kind of dealing with it. We're trying to get away from it, right, with our daily lives, but it's there. It's in your face. It's scary, man. It's a very scary thing to think about. Losing someone you love, or even losing your job, and.
I got a friend of mine that lost his dad. And he didn't know what to do about getting the vaccine, but because he lost his dad, and his family felt it, and he had his own feelings and he has his own ideas about what's going on, but he felt the pressure to look after his family because his family. You know what I'm saying? So it puts you even like I've been double vaccinated, but I did it because I needed to get out of England. I went. There was a small pocket through the last lockdown where they said you was allowed to travel if you were vaccinated, double vaccinated. So me and my wife, we went back to St. Lucia for like 10 days, 2 weeks. It was lovely because there was nobody in the hotels. So we had the whole hotel pool to ourselves and all stuff like that. And we back and forth to the beach, no problem. But it's like, where do you draw the line? Now, I see they've got all these other vaccines out. And as far as I'm concerned, you lot told me the first two were going to work and they don't.
Yeah.
So why am I going to take the next two or the next two after that? I'm just going to go to the gym. I'm going to look after myself. I'm going to stay healthy. And then I'm going to let God do the rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we have, you know, we try and make the people, we try to keep the world moving and keep everybody feeling good by making the music that we do.
Exactly, man.
Exactly.
That's a great transition right there. I love that right there.
That's
but definitely
experience right there.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely something that we got to keep our eye on. But at the same time, like you said, you know, and we will be bringing you guys more music. A new song just came out that I did with Too Deep. Don't Be Afraid. Check it out.
Yes.
If there's any beats that you want to plug in right now, or any songs that you guys are gonna come out with.
Yeah. Any new projects coming out? Yeah, definitely.
I got my new beat tape coming out soon. I'm just working on getting the promo done behind that. But it's anybody that, or maybe if you haven't, I've got Believe Volume 3, my beat tape coming out. So
Nice.
Obviously, that's Volume 3. So I've got 1 and 2 already out streaming on all platforms.
That's great.
Some people say they like it, you know, just to listen to. I've had people say, "Oh, your beat tapes are great just to listen to and just to play in the background." And I'm blessed even to get that response because then I know I'm being heard.
Doing something right, you know, that's good.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, look out for Believe Volume 3 beat tape coming out very soon. Probably dropped out in the next couple of weeks, man.
Awesome.
By the time this drops, maybe next
that's
couple
great.
Weeks.
And hopefully
we'll make sure.
If it drops on the time it does, I'll plug it in on here at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah,
appreciate it.
And we'll also plug in your IG. Is that cool?
Yep.
Your Instagram.
Yeah.
Plug in your
IG handles 81 Born and Bred. I'm on all, well not all. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter, IG, Facebook,
nice,
SoundCloud, Spotify, and all your streaming, all your DSPs. 81 Born and Bred. It's not underscore. It's not changed because I'm on different. It's all the same. Just type in 81 Born and Bred, and then if you want to look for the beats and want to, you know, get some for your project, download some free ones, see how you go. 81bornandbred.com. That's where you find me.
Nice, perfect. And we'll be putting the website and your IG handle on the description below, just so it gives the people a place to go and check you out. Definitely.
I appreciate it.
I know I've been checking it out. I went on his YouTube and I loved one of the beats there that I like quickly wrote something to right on the spot. So that's something that I'll talk to you about later. But
no problem.
I have a beat in mind. And that's another thing I wanted to say too. That's when you know somebody is a really great producer, is when you can scroll down and the third or fourth something right quick gets you, and you can write something to it.
Right.
And this is exactly why I wanted to do the podcast with you, is because I feel like you have so much knowledge that you've that you've gained over the years, and it was great talking to you, man. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. My knowledge just comes from my eclectic lessons in life from listening to music, and I think I'm sure you saw as you went down my YouTube page. I don't make type beats. I'm not the guy to come for. I'll tell you straight, for type beats.
Yeah.
If you want to make something, if you want me to create something new and I create something fresh, then that's me. But I don't make, you know, NLE chopper type beat. If you think it sounds like that for you, that's cool.
Right.
You understand? But I make what I make, and it's very eclectic. That's to say the least. My style is very eclectic.
That's dope.
Great.
Man. Awesome.
So I say it's been about an hour. We're definitely gonna get you back on this podcast.
Definitely gotta have you back, man, for sure.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. Count me in, man.
I would like to talk about other topics. I just wanted to kind of, see kind of your input on music production, and man, it was great just listening to you and getting all that feedback and the input, man. That's awesome. So thank you for your time. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. For sure.
No problem. Thank you very much, fellas. I'm blessed to be a part of this, man.
All right, guys.
And,
so this
we'll
is episode. This is episode 5, and the next one's episode 6. Stay tuned for that one, guys.
Stay tuned for that one, guys. Thanks again to 81. Peace. Stay blessed, guys. And as always, sit back and enjoy the show. Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
You're rocking with 81, born and bred.